Welcome to Write Books That Sell Now, the podcast helping you write, publish, and market your book faster, better, and smarter. Here are your hosts, working hard and having fun doing it, Candace L. Davis, Anita Henderson, and Carol Dunlop.
Welcome to Write Books That Sell Now, the podcast is giving you real insight into the real world of becoming a successful self-published author. I'm Candace L. Davis, here with my illustrious co-hosts, Carol Dunlop and Anita Henderson.
Hello, everybody. Hey, what's going on, you guys?
Today we want to talk to you guys about what to do when life gets in the way of writing your book. It does happen, happens to all of us, but there are solutions to get you through it. But first, Carol, what's on your mind?
Okay. Oh, no, here we go.
Why did I ask?
I know I have never said that I am bipartisan or that we are bipartisan. Do I even know what that means? No, but I want to.
We are nonpartisan.
We're nonpartisan. We're whatever we are. But what I want to talk about is the debate that I watched last night between Hillary Clinton and what the presumptive whatever Trump.
Well, he's not presumptive.
He's not presumptive of anything.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Donald Trump.
He is a nominee.
And Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Yes, and I want to say that it was so friggin' boring at times. I was watching it, or I was doing something else and listening to it, and at times I fell out on the floor laughing, literally. I mean, several times my husband just said, "What was that thud?" And he had to come out there and pick me up,
Carol,
because I just couldn't believe the things that were coming out of both of their mouths, really. And at the end, and I loved, like, when that whole Obama thing, when he was going on and stuff, I was into every single talk show that was talking afterwards. I was hearing that stuff. I was just like, I found out who Rachel Maddow was, and all.
You didn't know who Rachel Maddow was?
No, I never watched her, but I did watch, and she is my fave now. And the other guy that got busted, and he doesn't have his talk show anymore. I forgot what his name was.
Story, Carol.
I know. So anyway, but I'm not watching any of those now because they're just ticking me off. But what I did want to say about the debate was that I think that Hillary came to slay, and Trump came to just be himself.
Trump.
So yeah, just be himself. So that's what I'm talking about today.
Okay, and you know what? Honestly, I just want to leave it right there. I want to leave it right there. I did watch the debate also, and I was disappointed in both sides, as well as disappointed in the moderator, but that's a whole nother issue.
Yes.
It was a debate. It was debate number one of, I think, 3 in the presidential campaign of 2016. That in and of itself has been quite the circus.
Yes.
So you all, we just want to encourage you to please vote.
Yes.
Please vote. Not voting is a decision also that really, quite frankly, I don't know helps anything. So vote, pick someone who, best suits your fancy, and do go out and vote. So that's the Write Books That Sell Now call to vote and participate.
Call to action.
Go American political process. So Candace is like purposely tight-lipped. She's got nothing to say about this.
And that's okay. Just vote. Just vote. We don't care if you don't talk about it, just vote.
What are we talking about today, really?
I'd really like to talk about what to do when life gets in the way of writing your book.
What? Yes. That does happen.
It does happen. I'm working with a fantastic client right now, and one day I get an email from her. She's about 7 chapters out of 8 written on her first draft. And one day I get an email from her that says, "Just found out I'm losing my job on Friday."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So my first thought is, oh no, this is going to throw her totally off because she's going to have to look for another job, right? You know how much fun that is, and you know how time consuming it is, especially when you weren't prepared for it.
Well, right. Yeah. Go ahead.
It takes up all your time.
I was going to say, and then she's thinking about all kinds of other survival issues.
Exactly. It's all about how am I going to pay my mortgage? That's the top priority. You know, how am I going to feed my kids?
Right.
Secondary priority, mortgage, food. So I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, this is going to throw her off. And I'm watching her. This girl is just one of those no-nonsense women. She immediately set to doing other things to earn money in the meantime.
Okay.
She's baking these incredible looking cakes that she will ship to your house. And
Really?
I saw, we're Facebook friends. So I'm just watching her on Facebook as she's doing all these other things to make money in the interim while she's looking for another job.
No time to feel sorry for herself.
No time to feel sorry for yourself. And I'm also thinking, dang, now she's doing all this other stuff and looking for a job. Oh God, I'm never going to get any more work from her.
Right.
Girl, please. About 4 days later, she had another chapter in my inbox.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Had another chapter in my inbox. And I talked to her, and the bottom line is the time that she had protected for her writing time, that's still protected. Doesn't matter what else
That's
is going
commitment, and I think that's really important. I think that really speaks to when you even start your project,
Mhm.
you've got to
Yeah.
be committed to seeing it all the way through. Because I tell people all the time, when you start writing your book, that does not mean that life stops.
Mhm.
Like things stop happening, like the sun shines brighter and anything. You know, the butterflies come out and the flowers start to bloom. Life continues on.
on. Yeah.
You know, things happen in your life. Almost every client that I've worked with, not because they've worked with me, but almost every client I've worked with, something has come up. Something's come up in their life, whether it has been, you know, some kind of illness, and I don't
Yeah.
mean totally debilitating, but like a backache or something like that. Job loss.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, probably death in the family. Some things have
Yeah.
happened to people, and it's the commitment you make at the very start of your book project that will see you through. What do you say to people about taking a break? Like, so I lost my job, or my husband is ill, or whatever. Do you encourage them to take a break, or just step on the gas?
It really does depend on the person, but sometimes you do have to take a break. I mean, if you had a death of a close family member, or someone in your family is seriously ill and you're charged with taking care of them, those sorts of extreme situations,
Right.
take your break, put a date on your calendar when you know you're going, when you've decided
Right.
you're going to come back. Put it on your calendar with an alarm, with a reminder, set it aside, and then come back when that alarm goes off and tells you it's
Okay.
been 4 weeks or whatever. However, what I find is that most people who are taking a break really don't need to be.
It becomes an excuse.
It becomes an
whatever
excuse.
that delay
Well,
becomes an excuse.
you know, my daughter's applying for college this year, and so I've got all this time, you know. And look, my daughter applied to college
I
last
knew
year.
you were going to
I
say that. Like,
know.
I don't want to hear that.
I know that it's incredibly time consuming on the parents.
Right.
So as much as we want our kids to be responsible, it's incredibly time consuming on us. I get it. But is your book still important?
Right.
Yes or no? It's just that simple. That is not an emergency. You knew that girl was going to college. No, that's not a surprise.
You can put that on hold if you want to.
Right, yeah.
She might not be happy.
Yeah.
But the reality is that's just one of those things that you're going to have to fit in your schedule. So take a break in extreme circumstances where you really need it. Don't wear yourself into an early grave to finish writing your book. Most circumstances are not extreme.
Most circumstances are not extreme. Did y'all hear that? So we're not trying to shame you into or force you into anything. I think it really speaks to the why. So Carol, you are in the midst
Uh-oh.
I know you're trying to put me on a hot
of this book writing. I know, right? It's hot seat time. You're in the midst of this book writing project. And we know that the rest of your life has not come to a screeching halt,
Boy, has it not.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The family,
Mm-hmm. Everything.
the volunteerism, the businesses continue. And I really mean that plural. What are some things that could have gotten in the way in the few months that you started your book that could have delayed you?
Every single thing that's been going on in my life.
Every day, there's
Tell
something,
you,
right?
every day. It's like you have to just like Hannah said, you have to set the time. You have to do the time.
Do this.
And just get through it. I'm still not quite finished, but I have finished the 10 strategy. Yay! I finished that. So now I'm on the very back end of the book, and I only have, I think that's only going to be 3 chapters. So one involves, and this is what I've been dragging my feet on. One involves I have to actually reach out to some experts because I want to get their input in that one chapter. The other one, I have actually done the research, and I'm almost finished with it because it's about taking action. And then the last one is kind of a roundup. So I'm pretty close to being finished.
Okay.
I do, and the one thing that has kept me going is you guys telling me that I can't get off easy. Where's your friggin' book? Why are you not writing? Where are my chapters?
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
can
I
take us later. You can pass later.
I do. I'm thanking you now because I do appreciate that. And it's really, really important, I think, to have someone who is on your team like that, who at least knows. Because if I was just doing this right now, and I have a story to tell. I have a good friend of mine who I'm working with on her website right now. And she started a book probably about a year ago. And she put it aside because she had some other things, some other launches going on, whatever, all this other stuff was going on. She lost some weight, looks amazing and fabulous. But in the midst of that, she kind of dropped anchor on the book for a minute. And she told me, I just spoke with her about 2 weeks ago. She told me, she's like, Carol, I wish that I hadn't done that. I wish that I hadn't stopped, because the book is still not finished yet, and it needs to be out there. And a lot of things are hinging on that book being complete. And so I took that to say, okay.
That's your hint.
Yeah.
To not use anything as an excuse.
Yeah. Right. I saw her the other day, and she was like, where are you on the book? And I was able to report that I, just what I just said. So
well, I think that kind of accountability really speaks to you voicing to other people that you're actually working on this book.
Absolutely.
Because people can't hold your feet to the fire if you don't tell them that you're working on a book.
And I did that from the very beginning. When I very first said I'm going to write a book, I put it out there on social media.
And how scary was that?
It was really scary. As a matter of fact, when I first put the first book out there, because you guys were like doing all this stuff, I didn't do anything. I just say I'm an author, and I was cool.
She did her part.
Yeah. I mean, but this one is just mine, and just really deciding to do it was a big thing. And I know how you guys feel like that when you really decide to do it. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this book. I'm gonna become an author, blah blah blah. And then you get to write about 3 or 4 chapters, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna become an author.
It's harder than I thought.
So you just gotta keep going. But I do have the people out there who are in my social media sphere who every time I put something out there about the book, they're like, Carol, congratulations, keep going. So that helps. And then I keep putting more and more stuff where I'm doing, like Patrice Washington says, my forthcoming book, I am doing this. And that was one of the things that kind of not derailed me, but helped push me forward, because I do have a lot of charity stuff going on where I'm active in the community. And that is one of my chapters in the book, how you can use a community to help further yourself. So I'm really acting in my book, doing the things I say, walking my talk, talking my walk.
Practicing what you preach.
Yeah, I am. So, but I'm still finishing that book, y'all.
But you make the good point, Carol, that accountability is key.
Yeah,
so
it is. It really is.
If you need a structured accountability partner who calls you once a week and you all check in and say, hey, how many pages did you write this week?
Right.
Or if you need social media, as Carol is using, that's the same thing my client I mentioned earlier has done. She posts quotes from her book on a regular basis she's primarily a Facebook person, but she posts quotes, and then she asks, her book is a bit controversial, so she will typically post something that's more controversial.
Okay, to get the chatter.
And get the chatter going, and she'll have a stream of 30, 40, 50 comments of people going back and forth, arguing, usually debating, but that's because her stuff is controversial, sort of by design, but it's really what she thinks. It's her real philosophy. Okay. So a parenting philosophy. So I think that's important, and we've seen the same thing in our online course, because people in that course have partnered up and served as each other's accountability partners.
That's right.
And it's helping them to get through the process a lot more quickly.
From the beginning.
And
they kind of, I think we talked about it on one of the coaching calls, but they took it and ran with it.
Sure did.
Some people, and we had one person who recently did experience a death in their family of a very, very close family member. Condolences go out to her for that. But she just posted, I want to say last week, I'm back.
Yeah.
Right. She's back. She's
so
back.
I'm like,
she's committed. That's dedication.
And she took that break as needed, which was smart, rather than stressing herself out. But she didn't let that break become an indefinite pause in her book.
Yeah, an indefinite pause. I like that.
So we really encourage you, all of you aspiring authors out there, those who are in the midst of writing, and even those who have not yet begun to write. Just know that life continues on. Things will come up. Okay, don't think that they won't, and don't think you can avoid them or ignore them, and certainly don't think that when things come up, that's your red light, I guess, to stop your book project.
Right.
Yeah.
You're cheating yourself. It's just like, and Carol will tell you this, it's like working out. You work out, you decide you'll take a break. It's probably a little harder to get back at it than you think if you just continue to do a little bit along the way, even during your break. Just do a little bit along the way. So we encourage you to do that. Some of the things you can do, and Candace, gave you some suggestions. And one of the things is, number one is to have that accountability partner, or two, or use your social media fans or whatever that might be. The other thing is to block that writing time.
Yeah.
Block it, schedule it, like for however many months, I guess, you need to write, and just block it. And so even when whatever life interruption comes up, that writing time is still on your calendar.
Yeah. And you can reduce it, but just don't get rid of it. So when I have less work, there was a period of time when I had a total lull in my other work. And so I had like 3 hours a day to write. So I was writing like 10,000 words a day.
Oh my God.
That's like 35 pages a day, right? So that was like this amazing, wonderful time. Well, guess what? I have other things to do right now. So I don't have a 3-hour block. But I didn't just eliminate my writing time. I reduced it down to a 1-hour block because that's all I can fit in my schedule right now. If I get another break, you better believe I'm going to expand it again.
Because you have a goal.
Because I have a goal. But that's okay to say, okay, I used to have an hour. Now I only have 30 minutes. Just don't give up that time. You've got to have something, and it has to be consistent.
Agree. Consistency. Consistent. Very important.
What does Wendy Y. Bailey say?
Consistent action.
Consistent action is the key to success. That's what I say.
Absolutely. So we talked also about staying committed, you know, getting back on track after your life event has happened and passed. You know, take care of your business, but get back on track.
Yeah.
Keep your why in mind, your purpose for writing your book and the Write Books That Sell Now online course we talk about. That one of the purposes for your book is yours and yours alone. What's your why? What's your reason, your purpose for writing this book? And that has to be clear at the beginning, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes.
Or you're going to be all over the place in the writing anyway. So be very clear upfront about the purpose and your why. But make it a real, like, don't fluffy purpose it. You know, don't give
What
it
do you mean? Give
this
us an
fluffy
example.
answer. Well, why do you want to write a book? Well, I always want to be an author. Well, why do you want to write a book? Well, I want to build my business. Get more specific, right? So if you want to write a book to build your business, and that means for you, because you want to land X, Y, Z. Next year, I want to be on the stage at South by Southwest. And I know this book is going to help me through the application process to be a speaker there. If that's what your goal is, be super specific about it.
Right.
And there are no wrong purposes.
Good.
So if your purpose is to make more money, let it be that, and then get specific about how.
Smile about that.
Yes,
You want to
let
make some
it
more
be
money?
that.
You want to use your book to make some more money? Absolutely. Possible.
Yes, absolutely possible, but be really specific about the path and the course. I'm sorry, got to go back to it. Anita gives us a rundown of ways that you can make more money with your book. So choose some of those ways, not just this vague umbrella of, oh, I think I want to earn more money with my book.
Right. And if
No.
the only thing that you can think of to earn money with your book is book sales,
Ooh.
We did that.
there's so much more.
Did you take
that
the
whole
free
book
video
marketing?
training? Did you take the free video
Right,
training?
free video training, the online course, and the book marketing mega summit.
That-
Awesome resources.
That book marketing mega summit blew some people's minds, including mine, about the different ways you can earn money with your book. And
Right.
every single one of the presenters, including us, came on there and said, book sales, yay, it's great, it's awesome. But you'll make about X amount of dollars. It was probably a $2 sign figure, you know, that most people make from selling their book. But the other things that come along from writing the book, because when I first started, I had that vague thing. I was like, well, I want to write this book.
I want to be an author.
It's been on my mind for a
I wanna
long
be
time.
author.
I kind of thought about that. I mean, that was a hot second. But it was something that Anita had said. I can't even remember what it was. And it was probably during the period of us doing the whole course and stuff, because I learned so much from these guys. I want you to know.
It goes all ways.
Thanks. But I was saying that I need to be writing this book with just my name on it, because I need people to know how much of an awesome expert I am in social media and web design. So I was like, okay.
That's much more specific, though. You wanted to be recognized as an expert in two very specific things.
Yes. But then once we were on the Book Marketing Mega Summit and I met the mastermind queen,
Liz Scully.
Yes. I said, why am I limiting myself to just speaking and kicking off my speaking career? I want to do a mastermind and have a group, online group, which we already have, but I want to have that specifically for the book. And what it allowed me to do was to come up with 3 key things that I want to use in 2017 to make money from, that are going to stem from this one book.
So if ever you are distracted and feel like, oh, maybe this book isn't that important, or maybe it's not really going to serve me all that well, you no longer have to turn to something vague. Right. You have a really specific plan, which is a lot more motivating than just, I want to make more money with my book.
Exactly, because the plan hinges on the book and the book being finished.
Yeah.
So if the book's not finished, those other 3 things,
not going to happen.
Forget it. So I encourage you to come up with something, like Candace said,
very specific.
We always say specific, that you can tie to your book besides the book sales. Because We don't know how those book sales are going to go, but we know that you and your awesomeness can put so much out into the world, and people are really waiting on you.
And if you really don't know what you could do with your book, honestly, look at the free video training, because Anita goes through, I think it's 8 or 9 specific ways
Eight
that
yes.
you can get a return
And that's
return
just
on your
8.
investment. That's just 8.
There are more.
But those will at least inspire you to start thinking about something a little more concrete than what we all love, which is to earn more money, but to get concrete about how you're going to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors, and then we'll be back with a little bit more about what you need to do when life gets in the way of writing.
Get the Write Books That Sell Now free video training series. It's absolutely free, and you will learn a bunch of tips, tricks, and hacks from each of us to help you finally get your book done. In these free videos, we open the door to give you a taste of what you'll find in our high-value, information-packed online course. You'll get information on writing, publishing, and marketing your book, and it's all for free. To access the free video training series, just visit us at www.writebooksthatsellnow.com.
All right, we are back with the Write Books That Sell Now podcast. I'm Anita Henderson, along with Carol Dunlop and Candace L. Davis. We are talking today on this episode of the podcast about what do you do when life gets in the way of writing your book. It happens to everybody. If it has happened to you, you are not alone. If you're not even there yet, trust me, it's gonna happen. I hate to be the one to have to break the news to you, but it will happen. These things, you know, I think any project that's worthwhile probably comes with its own set of baggage, blockages. You can use those things as excuses if you want to. But I think really the theme in this show, the thread that's running through this, is that it's all about your commitment and your purpose.
When have you ever gotten through a month, much less 3 or 6 or 9 months, without any interruptions in your life, where you could just work beautifully on whatever you had set before you?
If I would.
What would you do?
Right. I know.
It doesn't happen.
In Paradise Island,
it doesn't
all
happen.
to be there.
And writing a book is a marathon. It doesn't happen over, well, writing a good book, because you can write whatever book today if you want to. But writing a good book is a marathon. It happens over a series of weeks or months, whatever your plan has for you in your timeline. So something's going to come up in that timeline. You know, the refrigerator's going to break, and you got to go shop for a new one, or you know, there's something that's going to come up. So you just have to be mentally prepared for how you're going to handle it.
You mentioned a word, excuse me, that I want to address, and that is the timeline. Right? So
important.
Right? You got to go into it knowing that you're going to commit a certain amount of time. Let's just take the writing part, even though we know that it's more than just writing. There's that production part, and of course there's a marketing aspect of being a great, successful, self-published author. But if you just take the writing time, I think people need to be realistic. First of all, and understand you may have to make the commitment, block out that time, but understand that even in that time you block out to write your manuscript, it's only a couple of months. It's not the rest of your life. So I encourage people to eliminate some of the distractions. I call them distractions. They're things that we lean on in our daily life, whether it's watching television. It could be social, like, Carol, don't hit me. She might kick me under the table over here. But excessive social media usage, because what you think is 10 minutes ends up being an hour and 10 minutes or more. It is some of those entertainment things, and Candace's husband is a filmmaker, so she might kick me also. But, you know, concerts, movies, girls' night out, all that stuff we think we have to do all the time. If you just put that stuff on hold for the couple of months.
It's a short period.
It is, and then you get right back to it, because the 3 hours you spend at the movies, or the 2 hours you spend on social media, or the 5 hours you spend watching television, that's writing time.
Yeah, and we all have DVRs. If you don't have a DVR, that means you don't care that much about TV anyway. So it's not a big deal. The movie that was at the theater, if it's gone by the time you're done writing, guess what? It'll be at Redbox, or it'll be on
Netflix or whatever.
Which is more important? Here's the deal. The person who wrote that screenplay, the person who directed it, they completed their project. They collected their check. They're reaping the rewards and the benefits and connecting with their audience. They don't care if you ever finish your book or not, because they've gotten theirs. So
That's a hard truth.
That's a
Okay.
reality. That's just what it is. So
Yeah.
you're gonna go and give them $12 or $15 or whatever it is in your city to go and watch a movie that is rewarding them for doing their hard work, but you haven't done your hard work.
Right. Right. Now you can be inspired by that movie, and hopefully, maybe then you'll go home and write.
If you've already gotten your writing time blocked, we're not saying don't have a life during the time when you're writing your book. But if you're feeling like your schedule is so squeezed that you can't fit in the writing time, that's when it's time to start eliminating distractions. Like, I'm just going to check Facebook for a minute and see whose birthday it is, which turns into, as Anita said, an hour and a half of liking and commenting and posting.
Go down that rabbit hole.
Going down the rabbit hole. Give yourself, okay, set a timer. I'm going to spend 10 minutes on Facebook and reduce that distraction. And when that timer goes off, you're done and move on.
Right. And you can use a regular egg timer.
Everybody got a timer on their cell phone.
Or their cell
girl.
phone. But some people, will you time, like my husband always tells me, time you touch that phone, it's not coming out of your hand.
Oh,
So
I'm not that person, so that does.
some of us are.
I can leave the house and don't even need this little thing. I'm fine.
What? Anyway, sometimes I do use an egg timer. I set that sucker right in front of me. It depends on what I want to do. Now for writing, I schedule from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Usually when it's past 8 a.m., I can't write for some reason.
But that's okay.
But if
Because the sun is out, the birds are
But you have set your routine.
my brain
Yes.
is ready for that. And after that, I'm done. And then I look down like, wow, I got a lot written.
Yeah.
So, just
If
do
that's the
what you
time
need to
that works
do.
for you, you're making a great point, Carol, because you found the time when you are most in writing mode. You're most creative during that hour of the day. So you protect that hour of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, for some people, it may. I worked with an author when I lived in California who wrote at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Because that's when it was the quietest in her house. And
Yeah.
so she's written several books over the years, all written at 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting in her laundry room where she has a table and chair. So that's what works for her. So one of the ways to prevent life from getting in the way of writing your book is to do what Carol did. Choose the time that really works best for you. You may have to experiment to find it, but when you find it, stick to it.
Yeah, and let's get rid of those distractions. If you know that at 2 a.m. is your distraction-free time, meaning that the dog is asleep, the kids are asleep, the spouse is asleep,
The phone's not ringing.
do it. Yeah, people ask me all the time, what do you mean by distractions? What I mean by distractions, first and foremost, is the people in your life. And so, like, whatever, I'm sorry, but your family is a distraction when you're trying to get your book done. Because unless you tell them that this is my time from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., don't bother me. This is not when you go up and say, excuse me, family, would you mind if?
No.
This is when you say to them, I'm on a mission
Right.
to write my manuscript and get it finished in X number of days or weeks or months. And these are the times that I've selected to write. I even encourage people to put the time on the refrigerator or the bathroom mirror or whatever, so everybody in the household can see that these are your designated writing times for 2 reasons. One, they know not to bother you, and 2, they may even be the ones who will hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
What are you doing in the
It's
kitchen
supposed to be
cooking?
your
Or what are
writing
you
time.
doing watching television? You're supposed to be, doing your writing. So those distractions, the people are distractions in your life. Love them, but tell them, okay, don't bother me during this time.
And you can train people.
Oh,
You can train people. When my kids were younger, they were homeschooled. They're grown now, but they were homeschooled, so they were home all the time. So my younger daughter actually made me a do not disturb sign, which I hung on my door when I was writing, and they learned very quickly. When mommy hangs the sign, we can't knock on the door. So during my little writing period, I'd hang the sign, go in, and they were fine. First few times, they thought it was funny, knock, knock. Not so funny. Mommy's not happy. Mommy's not laughing.
Mama ain't happy.
It only took a few times. It was about training them to know. I've trained my mother. Love you, mommy. She doesn't call me during the workday, right? So she only calls me after work. She's not a big call during the workday person anyway, but she would only do that if it's an emergency because she's now understands that I'm actually at home working during the workday. So it's just a matter also of training those people to know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't feel bad. Don't feel guilty. Remember that all of these delays are, putting things aside. The other distractions, pushing those to the side, is temporary.
Yeah.
You can get back to that, back to your regular schedule, back to your regular life, so to speak, back to all of your entertainment activities once your book is written.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you want to keep in mind, what Carol will soon find out is that even though while you're writing, you think that's the hardest time, The hardest part of book production, you're going to soon find out.
Yes, I already know what that is.
She's our marketing queen.
But I'm
she
ready.
knows.
I will just tell you, every process though has its challenges. Because Anita, don't skip over the publishing process. Because for a lot of us, including me, I get tired of reading my own words.
Oh, wow.
And so you're revising. Don't you get tired? I mean, by the 12th time that you've read your
You
manuscript,
can't even see the
you're just like,
mistakes or
give me a break.
whatever,
So, but you have to do it. You have to go through that revision process before you give it to your beta readers. You have to go through that revision process before you give it to the editor.
Right.
And then you have to communicate with your editor back and forth to make sure you're making the changes. And then you want to read it again before it goes to, I mean, you're going to read it so many times.
Even if
and
you
that's
have a
hard.
proofreader, you're going to want to proof it yourself.
You have to.
Right?
Yeah.
And that, from our perspective, is what equals a quality book.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you that you've read books and you can tell that they didn't read their book that many times, right? So you read the manuscript just in your Word document however many times.
Yeah.
Then you read the layout before it even goes to the proofer, you know, the proof. So you get your galley, your bound galley or whatever. And then you read that a couple of times. And then you finally get the book. I'm telling you, most of the people I've worked with they are not, I'm not even lying to you, they're up to here with their book.
They don't want to read their own book anymore.
By the time they get it, and I want them to be up to here.
You have to do it that much.
But at the same time, when they get that real book in their hands, like, it is joyful tears that they are crying because they know it's a high quality book. They put a lot of effort into it, and that's why we call it that book baby. When you get your book baby, it's a relief you finally got it out. It looks awesome. It reads well. It looks like a high quality book. How many people say, it looks like a real book? And I'm like, yeah,
it is a real book.
It takes endurance to
It
get through that
does.
process,
It
and
does.
it's easy to get that far and fall off track and not finish your book. It
My
is
goodness.
easy to get that far because if you haven't prepared yourself mentally, that the process is not over when you get to the end.
Oh, wow.
You've still got a long process ahead of you. It's all those things are important. It's easy to get distracted and fall off.
It is. But don't. Know that we're here to encourage you. And know that we have lots of resources to assist you. Just, click on the next podcast episode and watch one of the other successful authors that we have interviewed or one of the experts in publishing that we have talked to who gives some great advice.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we always want you to join the Write Books That Sell Now community. So check us out at writebooksthatsellnow.com. So just know that distractions are not the end of it. Remain committed. Stick to your schedule as much as possible. Get back on the writing horse when life gets in the way. And finish the book.
Finish the book.
I know, because we want to see it. And we want to read it. And we want to
Absolutely.
be into it. I can't wait for that part.
And we want to be excited about the fact that it's not only finished, but it's well done.
That is
well
awesome.
done. Yes.
Yes. We are always looking forward to well done books. And I'm going to do a quick shout out, ladies.
To a well done book.
Yeah.
For a well done book. I actually met this author. Wow. It's probably been more than 10 years ago. And this is a story really about how great things really start in really small beginnings. I met this author. Her name is Emily Giffen, and the title of this book is one in a series. It's called Something Borrowed. So she's done Something Borrowed, Something Blue, all that kind of stuff. Something old, something new, something
Which
borrowed,
was a
something
major
blue.
motion picture.
It has become a major motion picture.
Good for her.
I met her at a home show.
What?
A local home show.
Oh, wow.
So it had nothing to do with books. It was not a book fair or book festival, but Emily Giffen, Giffin, she was sharing a table, I think, with one of the local magazines. I think they had written her up in the magazine and talked about her first book. That was so awesome.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I think this was the first book. And so I just kind of ran up to her and met her, and I had never heard of her, but we chit-chatted about books and writing and everything. And she is actually an attorney turned novelist.
Nice.
Very creative. I'm going to read the back cover of the book because it's really cute. It says, Rachel White is the consummate good girl, a hardworking attorney at a large Manhattan law firm and a diligent maid of honor to her charmed best friend, Darcy. Rachel has always played by all the rules. Since grade school, she's watched Darcy shine, quietly accepting the sidekick role in their lopsided friendship. But that suddenly changes the night of her 30th birthday when Rachel finally confesses her feelings to Darcy's fiance. And is both horrified and thrilled to discover that
It feels the same.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
As the wedding date draws near, events spiral out of control, and Rachel knows she must make a choice between her heart and her conscience. In so doing, she discovers that the lines between right and wrong can be blurry. Endings aren't always neat, and sometimes you have to risk everything to be true to yourself. Something Borrowed by Emily Giffin. I loved this book.
way to go, Emily.
I love this
Giffin.
book so much. I read it 10 years ago, and I was out yard sale shopping and found it again. So I bought it.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
And my husband's like,
That's
you
a
know,
good
your
book.
book is awesome when you can like find it at yard sales.
Yes.
And people love it so much. So really good book, Something Borrowed, Emily Giffin. You can find it on Amazon. And this is the book that, one of her books that was turned into a major motion picture
That's
a few years ago.
fantastic.
So
Sweet.
love seeing a local author make it big. I'm telling you folks, I saw her at like a home and garden show like 10 years ago. And she's since written a series of books, and you can do it too.
Yes,
but you got to
can.
stay committed.
Yes.
I bet you life got in the way. Actually, I think she actually had twins.
Oh,
In the midst of writing one of her
goodness, talk
next
about
books.
getting in the way. 2 babies. My
So she
goodness.
survived it and succeeded, and so can you. So there you go.
Well, that's all for us. We want to thank you for joining us on the Write Books That Sell Now podcast. We hope you'll jump on over to writebooks.sellnow.com/training and grab our free video training where you can get more information on all the things we talked about today. And until then, keep writing.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Find out more about becoming an author and making the most of your book at writebooks.sellnow.com.